Welcome guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, it's me today for a big a big daily news video with a lot of news, with breaking news, with weird news, Depay, Morata, Ligt, Milik, Ramsey, Aubameyang, like a lot of news to go through. As you can see, it's me because of some issues. I need to also do it in a different location, but we will also be live today to talk about Dubai, so you can all join. And as always, like the video and subscribe. It's the last daily news video before 22. And yeah, let's get into it. Probably many would have seen the podcast me and Julian did. We recorded that yesterday evening, so if you are watching that, if you have watched that today, it makes it makes no sense at all because we talked about Morata, about different option, what Morata needs to do in 22, and what he's possibly doing is leaving. Now, before we get into the news, Morata leaving is not a good thing in January. That's what I'm gonna say. I've always said he should be gone in the summer. Leaving now makes no sense. But we go into the news, and the news basically, I woke up and Marca, a Spanish sport newspaper, broke the news. And while I was reading it, I was like, do I really need to put some time into this rumor? Because Marca, AS, they come with a lot of weird stuff out. And this looked very strange. Like, for so many reasons, it looked strange. One, because like the headline was Barcelona are looking for a goal scoring striker. Well, he's not actually scoring. He's not a goal scoring striker at the moment. So that was one thing that was like, I was like, okay, do I really need to put some time into this? And the report, it didn't make sense. But then, like a few hours later, not even, Romeo came with the news. Like everybody came with the news, Romano. And that's it. So the news, I will read the reports. I will read Romeo's one, what he reported, because, well, it's Romeo. So he said, contact between Morata and Barca with Xavi, so the new coach. Liking the Spaniard, the Blaugrana willing to talk with Juventus about Depay. Overall, not simple as Atletico Madrid are involved. Then he went on saying, I'm told that Morata wants to go to Barcelona. He has made his decision, but I'm told the negotiation between Barca and Juve are very complicated. From Juve's side, I've been told it's not impossible Morata to leave, but it depends on the alternatives. And then finally he said Barca will be willing to give Depay to Juve immediately. However, the Bianconeri are not convinced at the moment, also because of the player's athletic conditions and from a tactical point of view. Now, that's a lot of things to digest. Let's start with Morata first, because I'm very surprised that he wants to leave mid-season. I understand why he would want to leave mid-season if Barcelona offers him a permanent deal. But the reports are saying that Barcelona want him on a 6-month loan, and that makes no sense. Like, it only makes sense for Morata if he knows my future is set, because at the moment he knows I'm not going to stay at Juve. What's my future? If he gets offered a long-term deal, he probably is going to take it, and I don't blame him if he wants to take it, because he knows I have a future. My future is set. I know what to do for the next 3 years. I don't know. But the rumors are that Barca just want to loan him also for 6 months. Now, that makes absolutely no sense. So, unless that's some bullshit rumor, this entire operation makes no sense. It's based on false images, in my opinion. Because, like, what's the difference being for 6 months at Juve and finish the season at the club you know, or go mid-season to Barcelona, a club you don't know, for 6 months. So that's that. Then we move on to the next point, and that's we are looking for an extra striker. Not selling a striker and replace a striker. Like, the only thing that makes sense if you're selling Morata and you bring in Vlahovic in January, then I will go like, yeah, that's good enough. I will take that. But we need goals. And we will get into Depay now. letting Morata leave and bring in someone else is not fixing the solution. In January, it isn't, in my opinion. Especially not with a player as Depay, for so many reasons I will get into now in a minute. But just for Morata, I said it kind of makes sense. He agreed. I'm shocked that he agreed. I really am. But I kind of understand. But he also said, Romeo, he's not going to make a big deal out of it if it's not possible to make this deal happen, because like the season starts in like 6 days, 7 I think. We play next Thursday basically, and it's already a big game. It's against Napoli. Then the following games follow. Giovanni Albanese said that Allegri will make a decision on Morata before the Inter game, or we will give time to evaluate it. That, like, I respect his work, but that doesn't make sense. Like, he knows what Morata is. He knows it from the past. Excuse me. He has been his coach for the last 5-6 months. You don't need 12 extra days to evaluate things. That's not how it works, in my opinion. Not mid-season. It makes no sense. If he's gone, the club needs to do something, and that's a scary part, because what are we doing? Because Romeo also said Vlahovic, it's not possible. I don't even see it happening in the summer, he said. So that's very scary, especially for now. If you let Morata leave, it's like, what are the options? And we will talk about the options. And the first one is basically Depay. So Barcelona are saying, we are giving you Depay. Now, the issues with that, leave it along, like, not talking about Depay as a player now, just in general. We don't own Morata. So Atletico own Morata, we own him for until the end of the season. That's it. And we have an option to buy him. So that's that. So if we agree to let him go, we are not getting any money. We aren't getting any money. Unless Atletico say, we will give you 5 million if we can get him back now, and we will sell him for 30 mil to Barcelona, and Barcelona tell Juve you can get Depay for 50 mil or 20 mil or something. But you're gonna need to pay money, whatsoever. And the club was also always fixated this January, basically, because those were the rumors. 6-month loan, no obligation to buy. And that's scary, because if Morata leaves, you need to replace him. You need, just, there's nobody else. Yeah, there's Skiing, Caio, but you need to replace him. So that deal, like making that deal happen in January with 3 clubs, it's, I don't want to say impossible, but it's close to impossible. Like, that's a summer transfer, because it takes time to figure everything out. Like, everyone needs to agree. Atletico needs to agree. Morata, the club, Barcelona, maybe Depay. We need to have alternatives. It's a lot of things mid-season in a big month. So that's why it really does make sense. And now we will get into Depay, because basically what Romeo is saying is the club is not fully convinced about his position and his how do you want to say it? His fitness, his condition as a player. Now, I never heard about any fitness problems with Depay, so I looked it up. I only remember he had that torn ACL, I think it was, and now he's out. So I looked it up, because I used to watch PSV, and I used to watch some Lyon games. I'm not watching French League now this season, but I used to, and he seemed to me as he was always available. So I looked it up on Transfer Market again. Maybe they missed out something, but Transfer Market is pretty accurate, and it was right. Like, he torn his he torn something, and he was out for basically the entire season. He missed like 18 games, or he missed a lot of games for Lyon, and that's one of those injuries. Like, it happens. Like, you're out, and then you're out. But other than that, he only picked up like muscle injuries and stuff like that, and he missed like 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 7 games. Like, before he torn something, he missed, I think it was like 10 games with injury. That's nothing. He missed some time now this season with, yeah, it's kind of worrying that he missed 31 days. I think he missed like 6 games already this season, and he's scheduled or rumored to be back only mid-January, so you need to take that into consideration. We have a big month. You let Morata go, and you need to play with Keane, and Caio and Depay and Dybala, who we never know if he's gonna stay fit. So that's worrying. But overall, besides that torn injury he had, where he torn something, I don't think fitness problems are that big of an issue. But his position, I do have a problem with, kinda, because like he can play as a striker, he can do that. He's the last part of his career, he kind of played mostly as a striker, and then he can also play on the left. Now, the way Allegri plays is usually he wants a striker that can hold up play and link up play a bit like Morata does, to a certain extent, because if you look how Morata plays, he is basically the glue of the attack. I'm not saying he is very good at it this season, but overall he is the one who glue things together. Like, if you can see, he picks up the ball, or he receives the ball, he lays it off, and he makes his runs and all those things. I don't see that in Depay. He's someone who likes to take on more players. He's not really a number 9, and I think Allegri wants a number 9. And then you have Chiesa. What are you going to do with Chiesa? That's something. Is he going to be playing a 4-4-2 with Dybala and Depay then up front with no real out and out striker? I saw someone saying move Chiesa to the right. Fine, but what are you doing with Dybala? And then I saw not rumors, but just people on Twitter, which everybody has his own opinion and makes some good points, saying maybe Dybala is not going to sign his deal and we're just keeping Depay. And I'm like, that's very worrying. All those how do you want to say it? All those stories, all those thought processes, it's very worrying. Like, at the moment, and while I'm recording this, Romeo tweeted out something. I will read it out. He said, Barca continues to work on the Morata front. The Blaugrana have put Depay on the table, but Juve's answer for now is negative. The Spaniard has already agreed to a transfer, and then he ended up saying it's not an easy deal to be done. Which, yeah, like, it's not easy. And then Giovanni tweeted something out. Let me see. Yeah, so Giovanni Albanese said basically the same thing. Like, he's the main striker now. Mid-season, let him in go. It's very difficult, but you never know in the market. And indeed, you never know him in the market. But it's a very strange situation. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to do this deal mid-season? Do you take Morata out for Depay in? Also taking into consideration that Romeo is saying Vlahovic is very impossible even in the summer. Like, you need to take all those things into considerations. But it's a big story. It's a serious story. But it's a very difficult one for so many reasons. Like the reasons I just mentioned. I'm just spending so much time on one topic. Because, like, it's an important topic. Because the season is starting next Thursday. We have Morata, but the intention was always to bring in an extra striker and to help out Morata, not to replace Morata now with who? Because, again, if the club is not convinced with a player, not the club, the coach, then for me it's already a no-go. Like, it's already a bad start to a possible long-term marriage commitment. So that's very worrying. Let's see how it will develop. It will develop, and we will know very soon if this is possible, because this is not going to go mid-January. Like, we will know at the start of next season if this deal is happening with Depay coming to us or without Depay, and we going for different options. But remember, we don't own Morata, so we're not getting any money from it. It's not like, yeah, let Morata go and spend 40 million on Scamacca. We still have no euros. Like, there's nothing coming in. So my opinion is he's gonna stay. He's gonna finish the season. That's what I think. But let me know in the comments. Let me know, will you do that deal mid-January? What do you think about Depay? like just overall in the grand scheme of things, what does that mean for the summer if we do this deal? Or should we let go of Morata and try to invest in someone else? Let me know. But that's basically the biggest story of the day, and we will have a live today as usual, and we can talk. We will take your comments and we can discuss some more. Let's see if something new pops up in the meantime. But yeah, that's what I think about the entire situation. And we still have a lot of news to go through. So let's go to the next one, and that's also from Romeo, and it's Aubameyang. And like reading this news, it just makes me sad, because I can still not believe that this news can be true, because like that means the club is really desperate and still not moving forward like it isn't. And the news is, sources deny it, but those close to the player do not. Aubameyang wants to return to Italy. Without the Africa Cup of Nations, he would have become Juve's main target, I'm convinced. I'm not saying he'll definitely be Juventus player, but I'm still holding him in considerations. Now, that would be an absolute disaster. Like, it would, for so many reasons. Like, this drop off the last season and a half are insane, because he was having an amazing time in the Premier League. Like, he was scoring the same amount of goals as Mo Salah. That's what he was doing in a worse team, and he did that for 2 seasons, and then he dropped off. 2 seasons and a half, basically, when he joined mid-season. But he dropped off the last season and a half, I would say, and it's not looking pretty. He's 31 years of age. He's on a lot of money. The only way I could see this happening was, I said it in the podcast, was a 6-month loan and Arsenal paying part of his wage. But even then, I'm not a fan of him. Not anymore. I don't think... I just don't see it. And I hope this is just an opinion from Romeo. I just hope not even that the club is not even thinking about these type of solutions, because that means for the future, not now, but just in general, if they think that this way, then nothing really is changing. Like all the reports saying, age, we're not giving away those wages anymore, blah blah blah, all those things, they're kind of fake then, or not true, or someone is lying. Are the newspapers lying? Is the club lying? Anyway, it doesn't sound positive. Like, these names are not the way to go, in my opinion. Then I'd rather spend more money on Scamacca and try to develop him than overpaying old players. That's like, old, 31 years of age is not old, but in football terms, like, it's not what we need. But if Romeo says it, if he believes that, then great. I just hope the club never comes close to Aubameyang, because like, we made so many mistakes in the past. Ramsey, Rabiot, just name it. We make those mistakes. We shouldn't be making those mistakes over and over and over again. So yeah, and then we move on to some more good news, finally, and that's Romeo. He said we can take Milik off the Juventus forward list for this winter, and that's fantastic news, because he's not good. I'm sorry, he's not even better than Morata. He isn't. Marseille won 10 million euros. That's 10 million euros wasted. He's not a top player, or not. He's not a player for a top club. He's playing at his level at Marseille. Good for him. Hope he enjoys Marseille. It's a beautiful city, but good for us that he is off that list. He shouldn't be on that list. I think the club had like 50 names. I said in the podcast, maybe pushing it, and some of those names got leaked, and well, we know what happens when things get leaked. They get reported most of the time in the wrong way, and it builds its own story. Milik, I hope I never hear that name again, ever mentioned in the same sentence as Juve. So that's that. And then we move on to Sky Italia. They are saying Juve have not made an offer for Scamacca. The Sassuolo forward is one of the targets to reinforce Allegri's forward line. The Bianconeri, however, have not budgeted for costly investments in January. The plan, in fact, would be to get a striker on loan, and that's where Depay comes into everything, because it's always loan, and now we are willing to spend 20 mil on Depay, who was free a few months ago. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. like the Scamacca thing, the money we need to overpay for Scamacca because Sassuolo don't want to let him go, and if you want him, you need to overpay, and then they will probably say, yeah, take him for that amount, just take him, and that's also not the way to go. That's why I said I think Morata's just gonna stay because the options out there are no options the way the club wants it. A loan 6 months. We don't loan our players out for 6 months for obvious reasons. Why should other clubs do the same? That's why I think it's just not happening. I think we're just gonna stay like this. So yeah. But let's see what will happen in the next few days. So yeah, and then we move on to the Ligt. Now I will just read everything on the Ligt first, and then we will go into it. So Luca Bianchini, who works for Gazzetta dello Sport, who's a good journalist, he said Barcelona has a plan for the Ligt, one of their main targets for the summer. No chance to make a deal in January happen. The Ligt has a 125 million euro release clause. Then Romeo said the Ligt sources close to the club deny the existence of a release clause in favor of Barcelona. And then Tuttosport said Juventus have made it clear to Raiola that they want to keep the Ligt at the end of the season. In 23, the club is open to talking about a move or a new big contract. Now, the first thing, the clause, I don't know who has put that out there, but it's bullshit. And I will make it clear, if there was a clause saying if Barcelona comes in, the Ligt can leave for 75 or 80 mil, then everyone involved in that deal, still at the club, should be sacked by Alcan. Not even Agnelli, because he's aware of the deal. They all should be sacked and removed because that's sackable offense. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. If there was a clause, let's say 80 mil for Barcelona, it's the worst. Like it or not, football is a business, the club is a business. That's the worst business decision you can make out there ever. Like, it doesn't make sense, and that's sackable offenses. So I don't think I don't think the club is that stupid to put in that clause. So I'll just forget about that. Now that that Barcelona wants the Ligt, that's no secret. We know that they wanted him when we got him, but will they have the money? My fear is that the club will lower their demands quite significantly, or they won't take on some players we really don't need, like a Depay in the summer, and just name the players like a Jordi Alba, and like all those, I don't want to say crap, but players we don't need because they're not good enough. That's my fear. Now I believe he will stay in the summer just because nobody can pay that money. If the club just puts their foot down and say we need that money, he has a release clause, you want to pay him. If not, that's it. We are in control because the club is in control. There's a release clause. There's no reason to drop that release clause if you're not convinced about the offer or the players involved in the deal. So the club is in control, but it's a dangerous game you're gonna play with Raiola because he has a contract until 24, I think, or 25. So if you manage to keep him this summer, then you also need to start talks about a new deal or promise him he can leave for that amount this following summer and stuff like that. But if you make top 4, I still believe he's gonna stay. I don't know why. Maybe that's being delusional because we need money. And Raiola made it pretty clear that he's looking to ship him out. But you never know in the market. Like the Depay Morata thing came out of nowhere. It sounded complete bullshit in the morning, and then confirmation arrived. So let's see. But the release clause in favor for Barcelona, well, that's bullshit. Like, I don't think even our club will be that stupid to put that clause in there because, well, it makes no sense. Then we move on to, well, kind of generic news, basically saying for Kulusevski and McKennie there must be a suitable offer, given that for Kulusevski we paid 35 plus 9 million euros, and for McKennie 18.5 plus 6.5 million euros, and Premier League teams are interested. Romeo also said there have not been recent contacts with Tottenham for Kulusevski. I think I said it in the podcast. I think Kulusevski going to stay in January. I don't think Allegri is going to sell him in January. We're just going to keep him maybe in the summer. Let's see. I still think he has a future at the club. Let's see what will happen. But I think we're not selling anyone in January, bar Ramsey. We'll get in Ramsey, but that's not really selling. And maybe Arthur. But even then, I think he's staying. So, yeah. I mean, you can see the numbers. We're not going to recoup that for Kulusevski. Maybe for McKennie we will, but not for Kulusevski. If you're going to sell at this moment in time. But I don't see it happening in January. So we move on to some will say good news. And that's on Zakaria. Romano basically said Zakaria has communicated to Borussia Mönchengladbach his plan to leave the club as a free agent at the end of the season. Then he goes on saying Bayern, Barca, Juve and 2 English clubs are in contact with his agent. Nothing agreed, decided yet. As I've also said it on the podcast, I would have took him in January, maybe in the summer, because do I think he's a player that's gonna be a starter for a dominating side? I don't believe that, but he's a good squad player, and moving forward, he can be a good squad player, but now he will be a good starter because what we have, and I said it before, we cannot go from Betancourt to Tchouaméni and players like that because we don't have the money at the moment. So we need to make we need to take some baby steps, and baby step number 1 could be Zakaria, and then in 2 seasons times he will become a good squad player, and you can buy a player like Tchouaméni, like, if you know what I mean. But for now, I would take him. I would take him because he will not come on a big wage like that, like a Ramsey. I don't believe that or Rabiot, because he has not that. I want to say that status, because he's not coming from Arsenal or from PSG. He's coming from, with all due respect, good club, but from Gladbach. So let's see how that will develop. As you can see, it's the summer. It's not for the winter, so it's not going to help us now. Let's see in the summer. Then we move on to Arthur, and that's from Gazzetta dello Sport. They're saying among the players on the sell list is Arthur, who has never been fully convincing after a season and a half. He's not exactly the prototypical midfielder wanted by Allegri, who would not oppose his transfer. What complicates things, or sour sale, are his wages. His wages are 6.5, something like that. Teams like Sevilla are not going to pay that. Like a team like Man U, Arsenal, Tottenham, PSG, they will pay that, but will they take him on? I don't know. In the summer there were some rumors. He has played a few minutes now. Let's see if he has a good second part of the season. Maybe you will get your money for him. Let's hope, because I have nothing against Arthur, but I don't think Allegri likes him, so it's kind of pointless to keep a player the coach doesn't like into the squad. Even if you like him, even if you don't like him, the coach needs to like him, otherwise it will become a mess on the field, and it's already a mess with players he actually liked, but we're just not good enough. So let's see how that will develop. I said it, I don't think he's gonna leave now in January. I don't see it happening. And then we move on to Ramsey. It's basically the same news as always. There's no concrete offer for Ramsey. The only type of formula considered most likely is a loan. Teams like Newcastle, Everton and Wolves could be interested in this. He's going to leave in January and we're going to pay part of his wages. And that's very sad. Like, I would be okay if there would be an obligation to buy at the end of the season. But with no obligation to buy, this is very sad. Like, if he picks up a big injury, we are stuck with him for another season. Like, it's just getting some wages off the books now. That's basically the main goal of the club now in January. So let's see how that will evolve. But it's pretty obvious that he's out in January, because he will be dropped out of the UCL list, and he's never playing. He's never fit. So we move on to Pellegrini, who, talking about the UCL list, Tutto Sport said Pellegrini will be viewed as a starting left back moving forward and will be included in the Champions League list. Him being included means Ramsey drops out, which is, I would say, common sense. I've been very harsh on Pellegrini because I think he's been overhyped a lot. He has some pretty good recently, better than Sandro. Well, the standards are kind of on the floor. He needs to improve a lot of things. Let's see until the end of the summer. I think he can be a good backup if you bring on a number one left back who's not Sandro, who's rumored to be trying to be sold in the summer because his contract ends in 23. It's another free agent, but don't forget he's on 6 million euros almost. So that's a lot of money for teams like Sevilla who are actually interested in bringing in Alexandro. So it won't be easy even in that case to sell him. So let's see how that will develop. Or that everything will develop basically. But if he will be viewed as a starting left back, I don't really know. I think he will be playing more games, but I think still in the biggest games or the most important games, Allegri will start Alexandro. I'm pretty convinced about that. But let's see. Next Thursday we play big game against Napoli. If Pellegrini plays, then well, we can kind of take this report to the bank. We can. But yeah. Then so 2 final pieces of news. Again, Dybala. It's getting boring, but the news is Dybala's renewal is all done. And just have to wait for Antun to take care of their bureaucratic issues. In any case, any renewal will eventually be announced in February because at the end of January there will be a board meeting. Also, Romeo said it's pointless to talk about it, about Dybala's deal because it's done. Like, I'm not going to comment on it. So, well, if Romeo said it, it's done. For me, it's very strange. I keep saying it. A lot of things can happen injury-wise. Knock on wood that it won't happen. But it's about a lot of money for us, for the player especially. So it's a very strange situation. But he's gonna sign that deal according to Romeo. So I'll take that to the bank because who I am to question his information. It's his job. It's not our job. We just comment on things, and we can have our own opinion. And I do have my own opinion on it. If you're a regular on the show, watching the show, you will know my opinion, Julian's opinion, even Justin's opinion. It's a weird situation, but let's see. Even Cuadrado's one was supposed to be announced in November or October, I think, and it's now 2022. In 2 days, still no announcement, but it's gonna happen by the looks of it, and that's good news. And then the final piece of news is, so today is back in training. I think just testing if nobody has the and some fitness tests, so no real training. But Luca Bianchini saying Chiellini is not expected to be with his teammates in training today. However, Chiellini is ready to return probably from Saturday, meaning he's not 100% fit. And that's just who he is now. That's why the whole Ligt, Rugani, and all those names, that situation is not very hopeful. It's not very positive. Let's be real. But yeah, let's see how that will develop. Yeah. So guys, that's today's daily news video. It's a big one. Like, it's almost a live show. But there's a lot of news to go through. A lot of good news, weird news. Let me know in the comments what you think about the news. Depay, Morata, all those things. The Ligt, Aubameyang, like all those names. This is our last. No, maybe tomorrow there will be a daily video, but it won't be me, I think. So thanks everybody for joining this channel, watching the channel. We started it 6 months ago. We're almost on 2,000 subscribers. That's crazy. We never expected that, but all of this is because of you, the graphics, all those things is because you watch the videos. We can improve, and we will improve. We have a lot of things planned for 22, things for you guys to get involved on the channel, coming on the channel, discuss games, players, all those things. So stay tuned for that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao.